Awesome. Well, I'll tell you a little story about action. So, about a year and a half ago, I joined this free 3-day course with this woman named Vanessa about AI and learning about it. And I had never even opened ChatGPT. I didn't know what AI is or what AI was. And I started this 3-day course and I said, I need to know. I need to understand AI. And so I jumped in, and here I am a year and a half later. And I use AI in all facets of my business and personal life. So I'm going to share my screen. And I know this is after lunch, so I'm going to try and keep it light. And yeah, you can guys see my screen.
It's slowly but surely loading in. It
It's
looks like the
really
connect
doing its best.
it's doing its best. Here we go. We see it now. We're good.
Now it's frozen on my side. Okay. So I'm going to talk about AI for asset management and operations. So I'm going to try and make this as tactical and something that you can take home and use today. As soon as my screen, sorry, there we go. Okay, here we go. All right. So I use AI in all facets of asset management. And so just to take it back one step, asset management is basically how Brad was talking about how there's 4 phases in apartments. That's number 4. That's the running the apartment. So it's not as sexy. I always feel a little bit like the redheaded stepchild, but it is so important. And how you run your assets is how you deliver those returns that you promise to your investors. And so I'm going to talk about how you can use AI to make you better, to make you faster, to make you more accurate, and to help you squeeze every single dollar out of your properties. So, first thing is contracts and documents. So, as an asset manager, I have the fun of hiring property managers. And this applies to everybody who's operating businesses or whatever lane you're in. You're going to get contracts from different people. So, this is an example. I got 4 property management contracts. Each one is 20 to 100 pages. They're all full of legal jargon. I am not good at understanding those. And I also am not the kind of person who's going to sit down and read 400 pages of legal jargon. So I'm going to go into Claude or ChatGPT and I'm going to say, here are 4 property management contracts. Please create a table that shows um, that compares these contracts. So in this one, I did contract, what's their management fee, what's their leasing fee, what's their term, or how long do you have to give notice, what's their maintenance authorization. And then this is one of my favorite things, red flags and notes. Always ask AI to be kind of contrarian. What's a red flag? What am I not thinking about? What would somebody miss reading this contract? And have it pull this. I have done this on probably 40 or 50 contracts at this point. And the amount of things that AI is finding in these contracts, additional fees. Oh, you get charged 1% for every lease that's signed. Or my favorite one, the termination fee. They'll say, oh, well, if you terminate our property management contract, you owe us 100% of rents for the leases that we've signed. Like the ways you can save thousands and thousands of dollars by doing this. And also, this would take me 6 hours, and AI, again, with the correct prompt, is going to just compare all those PDFs and put it in a table here. And it even is giving me a recommendation of the property management I should go with. Okay. Lease abstraction. Again, this is one of my favorite ways to use AI is just simplifying reading long documents and getting better information than I could if I read it myself. So, and we're going to go through the prompt. I'm going to talk through this just real quickly. So, when you're doing a prompt, you want to make sure it includes 3 things. So, what the person is, who the AI is. So, this is you are a multifamily asset manager. Maybe you are an insurance expert. Maybe you are a short term rental manager. Tell the AI who it's supposed to be. Then you're going to tell it what you want. I'm attaching 3 resident leases for Unit 101, 204, and 312. For each one, extract and then give it specifics. And then if you want it in a separate format, you need to tell it that. So 3 things: who it is, what you want, and the format you want. This one, I just wanted text, so I didn't include it. But if I want it in an Excel document or a Word document or a PDF, you need to put that in there as well. So it's going to then take these PDFs and again, pop out the answers for you. This can tell you what was actually written in the lease, especially if you're taking over a property, what the seller says. and what the leases actually have can often be two different things. So I would probably take this a step further. I would get this information and then I would upload a rent roll and I would say compare to the rent roll and see if the seller's being honest or, if maybe there's a discrepancy in there. Again, this stuff doesn't feel so sexy and exciting, but for anybody who's gone through a tough acquisition or had to do this manually, it's so exciting to have this automated and have a really great second set of eyes on these documents. Okay, data analysis. All right, again, the better the prompt, the better your answer. This is a very high level underwriting that I do. Um, there is specific AIs like Archer, which is I know what Vanessa's team uses, that will do your full underwriting for you. I personally like to do a high level underwriting in AI, and then I look at it myself for a more detailed one. But so this can save you so much time because a full underwriting can take multiple hours. But if you want to just clear the junk out of the way, right? If you put 15 deals in here, probably one is decent. And so you're going to say, here's that you're an underwriting expert in the Dallas, Texas market. This deal came across my desk from a broker for 4 million. It's in this sub market. You know, here's the rent roll and the T12. Give me a high level underwriting and tell me if you think that this deal is overvalued. The other thing I would say is you can always ask it to ask follow up questions. So here I put, give me the 3 questions that I need answered before making an offer. So then AI can come back to you and say, well, it's not really enough information. Here's the things I would want to know. And then you can kind of have that conversation back and forth to get to a better place. Again, this is just one way to use. Super simple. I want to give you super simple things that you could go home tonight, pop in Claude, upload your rent roll, upload your T12, and get a baseline understanding of whether this is a good deal or not. Okay, so I mentioned Archer in the middle. Here's some other tools that you should look into for real estate data and underwriting. Archer is a great underwriting model. It is more expensive. So that's kind of if you want to completely outsource your underwriting. Julius AI is great for analyzing spreadsheets. Claude is my personal favorite. I'm not getting paid to promote Claude, but I wish I was because I'm such a fan. I use it for everything. And then Perplexity does a much better job with like market research. So you can kind of see how you use AI tools together. So maybe you get the rent roll in T12 and you upload it into Julius to run some numbers. But then you maybe also upload that rent roll into Perplexity, which is better with market research, and say, do a sub-market research and give me the best comps based on the square footage for a 1-bedroom and a 2-bedroom. And then the other thing is that you can build a custom agent. And I know Melissa talked a little bit about agents, and I'll just tell you one quick story. One of my friends is another AI nerd, and he built a custom agent to underwrite all of his deals. But he didn't put boxes around his agent well enough. And this agent actually went out and submitted an LOI for him without him asking. So just a little caution when you're building your own agents, make sure that you're putting them in a box, giving them guidelines, putting them in a sandbox. But you can also build your own custom agent, train it with your specific underwriting guidelines. This cash on cash, this is how I do my LPGP splits, however you want to do that. And then your agent can work for you and underwrite those deals. All right. AI is your asset management analyst. Now, Brad mentioned this a little bit. You can use this on the GP or the LP side, but you're going to be able to upload your spreadsheets and you're going to be able to use AI as a thought partner. So I do this on a weekly basis for all of my properties. I take all the financials, I upload it, either create a custom prompt or create projects in Claude, however you want to use AI, but you're going to upload the spreadsheet. And again, you can see my prompt on the left. This one's a little more detailed. The better the prompt, the better the answer. So you are a multifamily asset manager. I'm attaching the T12 operating statement for a 100-unit property in Dallas. Please do the following. Analyze my expenses line by line and identify any that are trending in the wrong direction. Compare my expense ratios to benchmarks for Class C property in Texas. Flag any items that appear significantly above or below market, and then give me a priority prioritized list of talking points to bring to my property manager, right? So AI is not going to take the human part out of this. You're still going to have a conversation with your property manager, but instead of just showing up blank to your property manager call, being like, how's it going on the property? You're going to come to the call being like, I ran the numbers and like on this example, it looks like our repairs and maintenance costs are up 34% year over year. Can you explain that? Is it because deferred maintenance we're catching up on deferred maintenance, or is there some sort of issue where we need to be looking at spending more from our CapEx dollars? Our water and sewer expense is up 18%. You know, some of these things aren't things that you would catch if you just pulled it up and looked at your water bill for the month. Maybe it's fine. But if it's up 18%, do we have a leak? Is there a billing error? What's going on there? And so it just allows you to be so much more strategic when you get on the call to make better decisions. Management fee. This is a fun one. It's slightly above our contracted rate at 8%. Do you know what I would do? I would then upload that contract I just signed and make sure that I understand what we're getting paid on. Sometimes you signed the management contract if you didn't run it through AI first, and you're actually paying on rent plus some of the fees. So upload it and then see, does this make sense, or is there some sort of error here? So again, the way that you can break down data, the way that you can take massive amounts of data and make it actionable is incredible. And as an asset manager, that's kind of your job, right? You're project managing, you're managing this deal to what you promised your investors. And anytime you can do something like catch a water leak at 18%, that can be straight down to your value, right? This is saying, my little screen is in the way, 43,000 a year in savings. That's $730,000 in value at a 6% cap rate. So all these little things, right? Little itty bitty things that you can tweak can make a huge difference on the value of your property and allow you to sell for a higher price. Okay. Screen share is challenging. Sorry, crew. There we go. Okay. Due diligence. Everyone's still awake. It's the afternoon. I'm talking about numbers. Can give me thumbs up if you're still awake. Okay. All right. Um, Due diligence. Again, taking large documents and creating action items and being able to read through everything. So this just happened to me. We had an 80-page PCA report from the lender on all the issues we had to fix. And I was preparing our contractor to go through this so that we could make the changes on the property. And I got on a call with him and I'm talking through the items. He's like, how'd you know that so fast? I was like, oh, I just uploaded it into Claude and Claude made me this spreadsheet with the prioritized items that we needed to do. He said, I just spent 3.5 hours last night sitting in front of this, manually extracting all of the items that we needed to do on our property. So using it to just save that time to be really accurate, right? If I'm looking through it, I'm probably going to fall asleep because it sounds boring. But if Claude is doing it, it's going to make sure that it's pulling out every single item and putting it in a spreadsheet. Then you can share that with your team and prepare better for CapEx. Okay, you can build your own due diligence walk form. We recently used HappyCo. I believe it's $300 a month for the app. And this is, I've used Jotform. Another suggestion was tally.so. And you can go in there, you can use Claude, tell Claude, this is what I want to build. And it will help you code and build the Jotform, or you can go in Jotform and just drag and drop and build your own unit walk form. If you're buying a multifamily property, I'm sure most of you already know this, but you need to walk every single unit and you want to have a very good understanding of what's in that unit. So you need unit number, you need inspector, you need the flooring, the appliances. Does this unit have pets? Is it actually vacant? And you compare that to the rental. And so they have really good documented details on that, on each unit, including photos. And then you can feed it, it'll automatically feed into a Google Sheet, and it will help you build out your repair costs for once you purchase the property. Another thing that's amazing about this is then let's say you bought this property and in 3 months, unit, let's see, 201 comes vacant. You're going to pull up the spreadsheet and see, oh, unit 201, it's actually in pretty good condition. Maybe we're not going to fully renovate this unit. We're just going to clean it and list it. This allows you to just move quicker than waiting for your property manager to go in and walk it and send photos and report back. Um, so yeah, definitely recommend building your own DD walk forms, saving that money, and building it exactly the way that you want. Okay. You can also show investors the vision before you spend a single dollar. And this is my favorite thing to do with ChatGPT. I'd recommend ChatGPT over Claude on image generation. And you can see on the left, this was a nasty photo I took on a unit walk of a kitchen, just kind of in disarray. And I loaded it up into ChatGPT and I said, I want you to mock this up. It's a Class C apartment complex. I want white upper, green lower. And it mocked this up. This allowed me, it also then, I also said, can you suggest some bare paint colors? And it gave me actual paint codes. I then send this image to my team on site. I tell them the paint codes. I send them the picture. We are all totally clear on the vision moving forward. The other thing this is great for is investor decks because it allows you to paint the picture of what this project is going to look like when it's done. So we do mock-ups on both the interior and the exterior when we're presenting to investors. Like, here's this building. I know it looks rough, but here's what it's going to look like when we're done with it. And it really helps sell that vision to your investors of how you're going to improve this asset and do the value add component. Okay, data visualization. I think this part is so incredible about AI because 5 years ago, data visualization was really only for Fortune 300 companies. You know, I used to work at a Fortune 100 company. We had a whole entire team dedicated to building dashboards, and dashboards cost hundreds of thousands of dollars and custom programmers and all of this sort of stuff. And now just me or just you can build data visualization dashboards for yourself, for your team to help keep you on track, to see where things are going. So here's a sample dashboard, a portfolio dashboard. How are all of your assets doing? Do you have multiple property managers with multiple logins? What does that look like in one space? What's your occupancy on all of your properties? You can use Claude to help you create a custom dashboard. I would say you can use Claude and a bit of Claude code if you're ready to jump in that far to build automated ones where it either connects via an API or you upload spreadsheets to build one that updates frequently. Another option, if what I just said scares you, is to use the company Lovable. They build great dashboards and it requires zero technical expertise and it does a great job at just building a snapshot. Like, please visualize this data. I think I even have a slide on Lovable. But most people aren't going to get excited about a spreadsheet. Most people don't understand what's going on in a property with a spreadsheet. But if you can take that data and put it in a visual format, that's better for your co-GPs, that's better for your investors, that's better for your property manager. Anybody that touches that is going to understand better if they can see it in a visual format. And again, this is free. It just takes a little bit of time hopping in there and asking questions. And I'll say this about using AI in general. I think what scared me at the beginning was like, well, I don't know what to say. I don't know where to start. I don't know how to build a good prompt. And the silly thing is you just ask it. You say, I don't understand this. Like, I just built my first agent a couple weeks ago and I said, I want to build an agent. I don't know how. And it said, okay, here's some ideas. And I said, well, I'm concerned about this security risk. And then it talks you through that process. So don't be scared to just jump in and start asking it questions. The ones that are back in the back of your brain that you're embarrassed to ask, have AI walk you through how to get to where you want to go. Okay, here's the Lovable page. This, I just uploaded it, 1T12, and it built this beautiful page. Expenses over time, expense breakdown, where are your expenses, detailed expense analysis. Utilities are 36% of the expenses on this property. So it really allows you to see it in a visual format. a high level format, but then you can also break it down. And again, this is great to send to your property managers, to send to investors, to send to other GPs. If you're having an issue, you can put it in a more visual format. This took literally 2 minutes and is free to put it in this so that somebody can understand where you're coming from, especially if you're a numbers person trying to communicate with non-numbers people. Lovable's also great for quick websites. Just give it, it's got an AI interface in it. So you can say, I need a quick website. Here's some background on the property. Can you build me a one-page website that's temporary until we launch the full one? Something just really simple like that. Okay. So from raw data to investor ready, Claude ties it all together. So this is talking about taking multiple things, the PCA report, the CapEx, and create a document with time sensitive trackers so we can prioritize and execute CapEx items in order of urgency. One of my favorite things about AI is that it really always dumbs it down to red, yellow, green. And so no matter what you ask it, it always highlights things in red. Again, taking this back to we're going to be sharing this data with other people. How can we make it so that it's actionable so that they understand it? So here this is saying the roof is the most concerning item. You can upload an inspection report. It'll give you the cost estimate and the target date. So this just built my whole CapEx plan for me just by uploading these documents and giving me an idea. And then this says, do you want me to export it as a downloadable spreadsheet? Okay. All right. We're going to go back to the beginning where we talk about action. So here's 4 suggestions of prompts. I'll post these in the chat after I get off. And I would encourage you to just make sure you're trying some prompts in Claude, doing some sort of data analysis, contract analysis. Say, you're a real estate attorney, review this PM agreement and flag some of the fees. You're a syndicator, please review this other deal and tell me if you think it's a good deal. Anything, just start to build that kind of system so that you're used to using AI as a thought partner and also as a helper. Caveat. AI is what I would consider a C plus to a B minus employee. Someone told me it was like the eager intern on their first week where they're like, yes, I'll do that. Yes, I'll do that. Yes, I'll do that. But that they always don't always have the direction right. And so I think Melissa mentioned this, but you have to look at what AI does before you share it. So I love using it for internal dashboards, but anything that I'm sending externally, I'm going to put a human set of eyes on it before it goes. I listened to a podcast the other day and someone called it taste, that AI can never replace taste. And so making sure that there's a human element where you're reviewing the information before it goes out, especially if it's going to investors or anything like that, to make sure that it's up to your standards. So, fun fact, AI made this presentation. It took about 2 minutes to make this presentation. And honestly, it did a pretty awesome job. And I'm not great at making presentations. It probably did better than I would have. But then I made 6 rounds of edits to get it to where it was something that I was proud to present. And it made this little error that I thought was hilarious. And it's kind of hard to read. But anybody in real estate will know that this sentence makes no sense. Help me build a prioritized CapEx summary I can share with investors and negotiate price with the seller. That doesn't make any sense. It's all the right words, sellers, investors, but you wouldn't use that for both of those items. And so it's just one of those things where I can catch that because I'm a person. And so it's just my reminder to make sure that you use AI, automate things, make your life simpler. Don't read contracts. But before you send something with your name on it, make sure that you're double checking it and that it's something that you're proud to send out. Okay, this is me. I'd love to connect with any of you. I'm an asset manager, syndicator, real estate investors. I have short-term rentals, long-term rentals, small multifamily, large multifamily. And I am a bit of an AI nerd. So would love to talk to you if you're building your own dashboards or if I can help you with any systems for implementing some AI on the asset management front on any of your assets.
Cool. Amazing. Bonnie, thank you very much. We'll go ahead. Anything else that you want to add? I want to make sure I don't jump in too early.
No, I just hope
Yeah,
everyone's still awake. I know it's a little bit dry, but it's also like so amazing to be able to automate some of those things that are so time consuming and honestly kind of rough to get through by yourself.
for sure. Oh, you're speaking my language. I start talking about charts and automations. I was
Charts
like,
and numbers. Yeah, it's fun.
exactly.